Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Check Service Industry Podcast. I am Rashawn Parker, and if you haven't yet, please go watch my television series Beyond the Check, Worker Owner Edition, now streaming on Amazon Prime and Tubi TV. It's Fox's free TV. Also, if you haven't yet, please go subscribe to Beyond the Check on Tastemade, and you can check out some awesome live content there. I have a fantastic guest today. He is a man who's taking on Uber Eats, all the door people are trying to bring you the food, because he has his own personal business that is helping the small local restaurant. He is the owner of savtakeout.com. His name is Steve Xuereb. Ladies and gentlemen, hi, Steve.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing today?
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
That's good. So you, we're in Savannah together, right?
Yeah, Savannah.
So you got a business where you are delivering food. It's a novel idea. How did you come up with it?
Well, good one. Just moved to the States, actually, about 6 years ago, and I was looking to open a cafe in Savannah. There wasn't enough coffee places then. And during my research, one of the services I wanted to offer was delivery. And at that time, I was actually living in Statesboro, which is about an hour away. And during our initial research, we were working with the SBDC, which were helping us a lot with our business planning and etc. And they introduced us to a local service in town called Borough Takeout. And got to meet the guys there and thought, oh, shoot, this is really cool. And they'd been around since the 90s. So these guys are veterans in the industry, way before your Uber Eats and all the other big guys came into, the market.
There was also 912 to go.
There was, yeah.
And honestly,
I to go as well.
And I'd never even heard of the one you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Borough to go?
Yeah, and I was living in Dubai for 12 years before I even moved to the States. And, we've got 6 months of the year with fantastic weather and 6 months of the year with very hot weather. And I knew that delivery just could work. And instead of, following my dream of opening a cafe, I opened a food delivery business. and it's sort of, it is comical because I never would have dreamt it in a million years, but it tied in pretty well with my previous background, which was hospitality, and I worked in a few restaurants as well before, and bars, and I was working with Emirates Airline for 12 years at the capacity of purser when I left. So we were in charge of service for, first business and economy cabins and 500 people stuck in a tin can. And I mean, we were transporting food that would be used hours into the flight. I mean, we'd be serving caviar 12 hours into the flight just before we land. And so food transport and food quality was always a big thing in my previous job, and I just knew that we could do it well with our service. So
what is it? I mean, it is a bold statement to try to. I mean, I wouldn't think to try to compete with Uber or DoorDash. I mean, it's just so big and so easy to use.
Oh yeah.
That how in the world are you differentiating yourself or making it better for the smaller businesses?
So interesting
to use your service.
4 months after we opened in 2018, Uber Eats came into town, and the other big competitors came into town, and we were still a fresh company, and we had to think quite quickly how we're going to differentiate ourselves. And always had a soft spot for small business, always have a soft spot for those restaurants that go out and do their own thing. And I thought, well, there's a few restaurants that I could really represent well in Savannah, that have got good quality food, a great service, and I wanted to just be an extension of their business. And that's the direction that we went in, and we've held to it, to those principles pretty well. We do have a couple chains, but they are small business owned, and the business owners are quite involved in the business. And what makes our business work really well is the communication that we have between the businesses we represent and within our own team as well. So it's not a bunch of random drivers working for a big company in California taking 60% of the delivery profits out of state. It's a small business where we sign on local independent contractors as drivers, so they're all independent business owners as well, and the relationship's really good. We've got a dispatch team that knows what we expect and what our businesses expect, and works according to the standards that we want, and it works well. So it just shows you that bringing it back to small business, concentrating it, smaller, it just works well.
So would you say a lot of your clients aren't on the other apps, or avoid them because of the fees, and going local is a better option for, say, higher end restaurants who just don't trust those people to actually get their product delivered in a way that they would be satisfied with?
There's definitely a lot more accountability with us. I mean, if there's an issue somewhere, it's very easy for them to get in contact with dispatch or myself, and we'll get the feedback. Rayshawn, I blanked.
That's okay. Basically working locally and direct with somebody that you can actually talk to, see you're a real human being. Oh yeah. You're
as well as our drivers too. We've got a team of 11 now. We've had 3 unfortunately leave us recently. 2 are SCAD students that just graduated, and one of my longtime drivers for almost 3 years went to do his own thing, which is pretty sad. But they take on they take on the role that they do personally and ensure that they represent us well and fix things on the fly. So there's no back and forth communication through email and waiting and silly things like that. There's always a phone call. We're only a phone call or an email or a text message away, and things get fixed instantly. So that's something that really gets appreciated by everyone, customers and businesses as well.
So how when you go to a restaurant's website now, and you click on a delivery option, right? And it usually takes you directly to whatever app they're using as a delivery option. Mm-hmm. Have you integrated in that way with your local core group of restaurants?
We have. So
because again, like I have, if I was going to have food delivered, I probably wouldn't even think to know that you existed. I would immediately go to Uber, or I would go to DoorDash, because that's just in my zeitgeist now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But on the other hand, if I was to go to a restaurant's website and see that, I can deliver, and I probably wouldn't even question what delivery service it would be. I would just assume it was their own. Right. Mm-hmm. And so has that been a key factor in your ability to maintain business to compete with them?
Yes. The big companies have ways to get themselves put on Google business profiles, etc. We have to put a bit more work. We need the involvement of our business owners to put us in these places, but they do it out of willingness to work with us, which is pretty cool. We don't.
Well, you're not raping them like the other ones are.
No, we're not.
I would assume so, right?
I mean, there are other ways that we're not only delivery. The big thing with us is marketing. As in, we're very selective as to what restaurants we want to represent and work with. And so, we understand that responsibility there too. And we've got to be transparent and work with them and offer them different products that are similar to what the big guys can offer as well. So it's always a bit of a chasing game, but I mean, it keeps you on your toes and it keeps you relevant, and that's all good. None of our businesses work with us exclusively by contract. As a lot of them do it by choice, because they like working with us, which is pretty neat and is a testament to what we do. Restaurants had a hard year last year with COVID, and you can't blame them for expanding their options. And just like with the other services too, it's all marketing. So it's the exposure, what they want, and whatever they're able to handle in regards to order volume that they receive as well. So,
right. And whatever they can afford
whatever they can afford, you're right.
Giving up the profits.
Yeah, exactly. We are cheaper than the bigger guys. Generally, by the way, it's an interesting fact.
You would think it shouldn't be that way, No,
it shouldn't. You're right. And like I said, it's fact that 60% of the earnings that these big companies, delivery companies, make does get taken out of city and state. So we want to try and keep our money as much as we can local and keep it within our community. It's a big thing about us too.
Bravo, sir.
Thank you.
Not to say that those companies didn't do a lot of good in the beginning, but but they cut. I mean, they cut their fees. The drivers don't get paid as much as they did originally.
That's
even
true.
just regular Uber, they all just slashed them across the board.
Oh yeah. I mean, a service for us, we are very, very hands-on. So. We don't have things running on autopilot. We've got people managing and manually sending orders to restaurants when we know that the driver is headed in that direction, so that we avoid food sitting. Quality is a big thing for us. So it takes a lot of manpower to get this done right. And that means, higher expenses for us, but we understand and appreciate our drivers and pay them more than they would get with, these other big companies, because there is more expected of them. And we work with the dispatch because that level of service is expected of us, from our restaurants, from our customers, and our drivers as well. So, it's that model is serving us well.
And if your driver shows up with Doritos, which dust on his face, you can just call Steve and complain directly to Steve. You remember that, right? Yeah. Another
interesting fact too, that I only found out recently within the last year, was that there's about 500 other similar services like ours across the US. People thought that delivery, most people thought delivery was a new concept thought up. We talked about the previous services that were in Savannah before. Mm-hmm. Delivery's been around for a while. I mean, since the beginning days of the internet, and
or possibly the dawn of the telephone. Could we ever deliver vis-a-vis the old tap? Why is my brain's not working? I'm blanking. The Morse code in the
Morse code.
Sure.
Yeah, well, I heard originally, before, we
Pony Express
with our current platforms, walkie-talkies, notepads. But I went to a convention for an association that we're part of, and they represent a whole bunch of other services like ours across the US and Canada, and apparently the UK too, I read, called the RMDA. And, they talked about the first noted or documented delivery, and it was actually pizza. It was, a few hundred years back. So,
by Pony Express, ordered with Morse code.
There you go.
Quite possibly. That's fun. So, where let's get into a little bit more about you.
Okay.
Tell me about Steve. Well, what was your life like, Steve? Where were you born?
That's an interesting one. I was actually born in Melbourne, in Australia. My parents are Maltese originally, and I've lived in Malta as well for more than a couple of years, and lived in Dubai, like I mentioned, for 12 years. And 10 years out of that, I was flying for Emirates as cabin crew. And then the last 2 years of that, last 2 years in Dubai, I was working in promotions and events for the underground electronic music scene, which was pretty cool. I was always a fan of the music, and I took a bit of a turn and had a ball doing that, and that really helped me with this current business too. Because big thing with us, like I said, is marketing, and presenting our restaurants to everyone and stuff like that. So and then moved to the States with my partner. We've been together for a long time, and I did the first year in Statesboro, like I mentioned, which is a small university town. So 12 years in Dubai, and then moving out in the middle of the country to Statesboro was a bit of a shock.
If there are two opposite worlds on the planet, you found them.
Yeah. But it was an experience, and it was nice to get that open space and greenery. And then, the intent was to move to Savannah. So a year in Statesboro, and then that time I did all my planning and built relationships with businesses, and we launched before I even moved to Savannah. So if anyone doesn't know, that's 1 hour drive away. Then we moved to Savannah, and here we are.
How was eating in Dubai?
Awesome, because it's
everything and anything you could ever imagine.
It's such a big melting pot of cultures. So you could eat anything you want from anywhere you want in the world, and it's a great experience. You've got your glitzy high-end restaurants with crazy expensive
gold
lavish seafood buffets and stuff like that, and then you got really great Indian and Pakistani restaurants, just your hole in the wall, and food's amazing, and so you meet a lot of people from all over the world. It was pretty good experience.
What do you is there anything you miss most that you can't get here?
The nightlife. Clubbing. I had to grow up at some point, so this forced me into it. But
it's like your forced retirement here.
Yeah, pretty much. But that's why I keep busy. Like, we've got almost 50 restaurants now, and I keep busy with all of them, and I'm not stuck in one place, which is nice. For work, I'm mobile, and I can work out of anywhere too. So it's cool. Savannah's obviously not as how can I say, multicultural as Dubai. Dubai's a big hub, but you got a lot of people from all over the world moving here as well, even within the States. They appreciate the flow of the city and the way of life, and it's not as easy going, or it's not as slow as people imagine. There's still a buzz here, and it's a cool place.
I'm still here. So
Yeah. I mean, I'm still here.
it's funny when you go other places, and this was mainly because I'd lived downtown the first 10 years that I was here.
Okay.
Is that you could walk everywhere and it's pretty, and you really don't need a car if you live downtown. You have Kroger's, you have everything you could ever possibly need.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have a car for 10 years.
Oh, cool.
Because I didn't need one. I just rode my bike around town.
Wow.
So I didn't venture outside of downtown that often unless I was with somebody else, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I would leave Savannah and go to other cities, and it was you have to drive a half an hour to get everywhere, and for anything that you need, there is no like area where it's just like, oh, this is a place you could live and walk, and everything, and they just don't exist in other places.
That's true.
So it's one thing that I always really appreciated about Savannah is that you can just live here without a car. If you live downtown,
and just get your food delivered.
Oh yeah, or just get your food delivered.
Yeah,
exactly. By a local delivery service.
Yeah, there you go.
Such as AV Takeout.
It's AV Takeout.
But so as far as I still want to know more about eating in Dubai.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a Vegas. It's like the world's Vegas.
It is, without the gambling.
Without the gambling.
I mean, the food scene is a big deal there. I mean, especially the Friday brunches, because weekends are different in the Middle East. They're on.
Oh yeah.
Our weekends are on Saturday and Sunday here, in most of the West. But in the Middle East, it's Friday and Saturday. So Friday was our big day to go out on a brunch, and we'd get a big group of friends of like 15, 20 people and book a massive table and start out from 11 a.m.
Go all the way till Saturday night.
All the way through the night. Yeah. Change places, go clubbing. Yeah. It used to be a big day. Not something you could do every weekend. I couldn't have done it personally, but it's great. Like, and that's what I missed, the variety of food that's available to you. And that's what I try to represent with our business too, to be honest. A world of flavors. Of course, our local favorites too, but I really wanted to represent some international flavors with our profile.
A world of food. I like that.
Yeah.
At the touch of your fingers.
Yep, there you go.
So, do you cook?
Terrible. Yeah, just as well. I've got 50 restaurants at my fingertips. Yeah, I mean, I cook, but I couldn't. Yeah, I'm a bit embarrassed. I wouldn't invite people over to eat, so forget it.
Well, that explains a lot why you started the company then.
It does, yeah. It really does.
I assume you at least get some sort of discount.
Like, we don't ask for anything. We get taken care of, which is nice.
Right.
These people appreciate the work that we do for them, and and we appreciate allowing us to represent them. So we try and keep good relationships with our restaurants as much as we can, of course.
Oh, I got some technical questions.
Go on.
What is one of the hardest things to transport to get to the house?
Interesting
happy?
One. Okay. Ice cream.
Ice cream.
Well, look, I'm going to use ice cream as an example. Are we allowed to put in a plug for a business?
Sure, go for it.
All right, cool. So, Leopold's, that came about. Working with them came about by accident. I met the owner at a networking event.
Old Stratton, I know Stratton.
Yes, Stratton.
Hi,
and he
Stratton.
said, he saw my car, and he said, "How come we're not delivering for you?" I was like, "Well, we've tried to reach out, but
you're hard to get through too.
Hard to get through, blah blah blah." But he arranged a meeting real quick, and It's an interesting meeting to have because it's a big name in town, and you don't want to screw up a delivery for him. And ice cream is sensitive. But yeah, like we started out with Leopold's limiting the range that we were delivering their ice cream to, and we're not realizing that we're doing so well that we were actually pushing the boundaries to much further, and it's been going really well. So that's one of the very sensitive foods that scared me in the beginning, but we're doing quite well there. And pizza is another sensitive one, believe it or not. I mean, it's one of our biggest products, obviously, that we deliver. But pizza, you've got to let it sit a bit and let the steam escape so it doesn't stay soggy, and the base can stay a bit crisp and hold its shape. And the drivers know that they got to lay that pizza bag dead flat and not to press on that brake too heavy because
shifting the toppings around.
Oh yeah, toppings will slide and stuff like that, and we do a pretty good job. So we've been delivering for Vinny's now, Vinny Van Gogh's, for a couple of years, and we're at already 4,500
pizzas delivered.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And if we've had 5 incidents, that's probably plenty. Yeah, that's pretty cool. 5
incidents.
Oh yeah, I mean, as in, drivers.
What do we call an incident?
They happen. We have to admit, they happen. I mean, we're just quick to fix them. But I mean, look at that number. Compare it, and this is no BS. Like it's just it fascinates me to even think about it. It's pretty cool.
I'm glad you know the number. Like that is.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fourth. How many was it?
It's 4,500 for sure. Yeah,
4,500 pizzas delivered.
Oh yeah, that's
catching up with McDonald's.
The number of pizzas. Oh. That would be an interesting one.
Oh, that would be an interesting so that's one. Not just that's orders. So multiple pizzas orders. Orders.
Yeah, that's not even pizzas. That'll be very interesting. Yeah,
you're gonna have to get a sign.
Yeah, yeah.
You're competing with McDonald's.
Yeah.
Which I don't know about the McDonald's sign. I don't know if they should be proud of it anymore or if they should be ashamed. We've served 4 billion people our shitty hamburgers.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Are we proud? Or yeah, we're proud. World's a bunch of suckers.
And then talking burgers as well, like we deliver for a green truck, and
you got the green truck.
Oh yeah, and that's a really good relationship that we're having with them, and a lot of burgers are being dished out every day, every week. All
right, I don't want them to get mad at us, but how do you feel about their ketchup?
I like it.
Oh, do you?
I like it.
I hate it.
I know it's a love and hate thing, but I like it.
Yeah, no, I take my own with me if I ever go there. Or no, I brought my own. I don't.
I like the garlic taste they have in it, and I think it's real.
I just think that it's like the sugar wasn't processed or heated high enough, so it's still kind of grainy.
Really? No, I haven't encountered that, but and don't put me in a position to.
I said, hey, you like their ketchup? That's fine. I'm glad they tried to do their own thing, but I'm a simple American who's addicted to Heinz, and
I know there's a whole bunch of you out there. I know it's a love and hate thing, but I like it.
My brain says that's what ketchup is, and it's not going to be told otherwise.
Yeah.
So, were you around food as a child? Like growing up, did you spend your childhood in Australia?
Interesting question. Okay, well, Mom and Dad's Maltese. Our food is very Mediterranean. Mediterranean can mean different things to different people. I mean, you've got your North African, you've got your how can I say, like Eastern, and then like, the
Greek.
Greek and the Cypriot and the Turkish melt into each other. Our
No matter
food
what, there
is
are grape leaves involved somewhere.
grape leaves. The Turkish use them, the Greeks use them, Cypriots use them. They use the stuffed grape vine leaves. But our food's much more influenced by the Italian side. We're only 60 miles. Oh yeah, 60 miles away from Sicily. So we are big on fish, and we don't do too much to it. For us, grilled piece of fish, salt, pepper, and lemon is more than enough, and a nice salad is perfect.
Well, that sounds super healthy.
Yeah, and it's an interesting thing too. Mum cooked at home. Dad did as well at times. They cooked a lot of traditional stuff. Mom ventured into other stuff too, but she made Chinese noodles, and we thought the appropriate thing to put on top of them was Parmesan cheese for a long time. And I think
they're still good.
Yeah, me living overseas, and Melbourne is a big food, like big multicultural city. So we were exposed to a lot of food there too, and I'm very grateful for that. Like, the different cultures that we got to grow up with, and different foods we got to experience. Melbourne is the food capital of Australia, hands down. So when you get a bit older and independent, 16, 18, you start going out with friends to restaurants and stuff, and getting more exposed to international flavors. I think my parents are still a little old school and like their own thing. Not that they don't venture around with other tastes, but they need a bit of guidance.
We all get set in our ways in a lot of different attributes of our lives.
Oh yeah, even me, I have to admit it. Like, even moving to the States, there's certain tastes and way things are prepared that I'm still not very
fond of,
used to. Seafood is a big thing too, So I just like my seafood nice and plain, grilled, salt, pepper. But like, there's certain. I love to go to Erica Davis. They make certain things that I like that is more traditional to the South. But I just like the way that they prepare it, and I trust the way that, their produce is always fresh, and whatever they make is always going to be pretty awesome. But it takes a bit of adjustment. Definitely it does.
I find that I like to try different things, and I want to try different things, and I'm excited to try different things, and I try them and I like them. For like, the first few bites, or like maybe just for that one dish. But like, when it comes down to the end of the day, what do I just actually want to like shove in my face and just eat? Is usually none of the super fancy dishes that you would find at a restaurant. None of the crazy, science things that go into it, or taking taste profiles and having all these layers in them. It's like, sure, that's fun and good, and I appreciate going to the restaurant. I appreciate the art that you put into it, chef, and all of that. But at the end of the day, just give me a roasted chicken and some mashed potatoes and corn, and I'm a super happy boy.
And this is another thing too. Like, after flying for 10 years and visiting a whole bunch of different countries, street food, you just love it. Like, you're going to experience
the better.
Real, how can I say? It's
comfort.
It's by the community,
comfort.
Almost
comfort
more
food.
than by the city, because tastes are acquired by what's available around the area, and so that's another one too.
Right? Yeah. That is true. Like the taste of a town comes from the street, right?
Oh, yeah.
And that,
big fan of Asian food too. Love Asian food.
I love traditional, or not traditional. Let me rephrase that. Americanized Chinese food.
I was gonna say, watch out there. I've been to China. I need another Chinese restaurant. Yeah, that menu is not your usual.
No, not at all. There is nothing. No. Yeah. Chinese restaurants are basically the McDonald's of a Chinese corporation, right? And they all got together back in the day and came up with this menu. And and that's what we call Chinese food. But real Chinese food, is like Fear Factor.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, but I mean, they utilize if they're gonna cook, from meat from an animal, they're gonna utilize everything from it, and that's pretty neat too. I think we, when it comes to meat, maybe the Western side of the world is very picky and very wasteful. They make creative dishes out of.
Well,
anything,
sir, that's why we invented hot dogs.
There you go. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
we were like, you know what? We're super wasteful. What could we do with all this that doesn't completely gross us out?
I tell you what,
let's make a hot dog.
I'm not very big on meat these days. I mean, I do eat it, I admit it, but I'm very big more on the veggies and the fish side of things.
You're a bit of a pescatarian, are you?
What was that?
Pescetarian. That it's a fish.
Fish. Yeah. I guess, but I mean, no, I can't say that too because you'll see me, telling
you'll have a cheeseburger every once in a while.
So, yeah,
they're so delicious. It's the hamburger. It is literally. I blame the hamburger itself for most people's inability. Hamburger and bacon both hold a key part in keeping us from going vegetarian or switching.
Yeah,
because
that's true. Yeah, but there's a good
damn
alternative
hamburger.
at least to the
to the burger
hamburger side of things, which is interesting. But
yeah. I mean, I don't like the synthesized meat or whatever the hell they do. Yeah. It has a weird flavor. I prefer like a black bean burger. Mm-hmm. Just like a good black bean burger is a delicious burger.
Oh yeah,
I don't need it to be fake meat.
Oh yeah, and the things they do with falafel as well, and other alternatives like beans and stuff. People get creative and make some, and they don't have to make it taste or have a texture of meat. It's just.
Have you been? This is on the island. That's on Whitmarsh. But have you been to Corner Grill ever?
Corner Grill?
The Corner Grill.
Corner Grill.
Episode 5, season 1 of Beyond the Check is the Corner Grill, and he's just a dude flipping his burgers all day by himself in his place, and they're some of the best burgers that you'll also find in town. So if you're ever looking for another burger guy,
I gotta check him out. And I love discovering new restaurants and businesses that I haven't discovered yet myself, because usually I'm the one telling people. So I appreciate that.
His vegetarian black bean burger is probably one of the best black bean burgers I've ever had.
Then I'll be checking it out. Yeah, I'll be checking it out.
Hell yeah. I have a buddy who he's a vegetarian. He's the worst vegetarian ever. He eats fish crackers like it's his job.
Fish crackers.
And that's it. He drinks them, right? I'm like, dude, go to the store, get yourself some vegetarian burgers, make yourself meals. And so I introduced him to that. And so about 4 times a week, he goes out there to get himself the black bean burger because it's the only real meal he eats. The worst vegetarian ever.
That's a good one.
But anyway, what are you having for dinner tonight?
Oh, good question. Well, we've got the nephew over from Germany. He's out there at what's the Air Force base there? Big Air Force base. But anyway, he's here on leave.
Hunter.
And he's coming down with his girlfriend and mom. So we'll probably go out to dinner somewhere.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. Either pick one of the 50 that we work for or work with, or check out somewhere new too. We don't exclusively
the
businesses we work with.
If you go somewhere else, they might end up a client.
Oh yeah, that's why it's important to venture around. Oh yeah, definitely.
Touche. Well, would you like to give any shout outs? Where can we follow you, or any cool things coming up?
Well, cool things. We started delivery service in Pooler a couple weeks back. Which is something that we've wanted to venture out into for a good while. Some of the restaurants that we work with here in Savannah also have locations out in Pooler. Pooler's an interesting place.
I hear it's cooler
when it comes
in
to the
Pooler.
restaurant scene. Like it's very chain orientated. But a fact that was very interesting that was presented to me a couple of weeks ago was Pooler has the 7th most concentrated amount of restaurants in a 1 mile radius.
Really?
That makes sense. Yeah, 7th in the U.S.
7th in the U.S. for concentration
7th
of restaurants.
in the U.S. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I think, and there are some mom and pops there
Just
that are
crammed them
trying
in.
to. Oh yeah, crammed in. I mean, you go like. You surprise yourself. It's restaurant, and
So
there's
if you
more
want to take
spaces popping
one of
up.
the ultimate walking restaurant tours.
Yeah.
Walk 1 mile around Pooler.
Yeah, but I hope to see more. And there are the mom and pop restaurants there as well. There are the small businesses there too, and we want to try and reach out and work with them and represent them similar to how we're representing them here in Savannah as well.
Bravo to you, sir.
Well, it's been in the books for a long time, and we thought it's now or never, and we're just gonna do it.
Just do it. It's cooler.
Yeah.
It's cooler in Pooler.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's gonna be cooler in Pooler. And you're creating more jobs in Pooler, and
Yeah. And some, like the
all
big
around
thing
positive.
that we want to do with what we do in Savannah as well is, some pride in the restaurants that that we have in town. So that's a big thing, that we want to push. We want to showcase the restaurants that we work with, because each restaurant that we work with has to have something special or different. We don't want to work with just any restaurant. So
and and that's good for marketing too. I would imagine.
Yeah, it is.
People want that restaurant and they don't think they can get it.
Yeah.
Right, but because it's a local favorite, and you've mentioned several local favorites,
Oh, yeah.
Green Truck, that you just normally wouldn't think I would have delivered, and I don't want to have it Uber eated.
Oh yeah.
But maybe I would trust Steve SAV Takeout to actually get it to me the way that I want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So trust Steve, guys. Trust Steve. He's gonna get your food.
Just me and the
hot and
team,
ready.
not just me. I can't do it all on my own.
And the team.
A great team, yeah.
The entire team at
Delivered better is our
savtakeout.com.
thing that we've been pushing on lately. So
Delivering better?
Delivered better.
Delivered better.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, go to SAV Takeout here in Savannah, Georgia, or I guess now in Pooler, Georgia as well, and you can have your food delivered better.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Steve. Appreciate it. And keep up the good work.
Thanks, Rashawn.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Go watch my television series and go follow us on Tastemade. Cheers.